Welcome everybody to the final recap video here as we finish our recap of WCW in TEW 2020 as we're finally ready to move things over to TW9. As a little process note, I will have the first TW9 video for WCW 2006 up on Monday. As far as like background stuff, I still have a little bit of like editing to do as far as like title histories, booking team, stuff like that, but like the actual like most of the data is good and I could actually probably book a show. I just like have some like little things to take care of. But like, and also as part of like the first video, I plan to release a database for TW 2020. If anyone wants to continue on that game, and on TW9. So that's a lot of like the little things I'm going to change, just so everything makes sense for people who like pick up the data if they want to. But that's in the future. But now we look towards the recent past, as 2006, of course, was the last year of the game. So, of course, you start out with AJ Styles as your World Heavyweight Champion. He defeated Sean O'Haire in what was a face versus face match at Clash of the Champions. Defeated Jeff Jarrett at Super Bowl and WrestleWar 2006 as he continues bona fides. And then at Sacrifice 2006, he took on Rav Van Dam and won the match in a somewhat controversial manner. But he looked like AJ was moving on to Eddie Guerrero, but AJ Rav Van Dam got involved in an AJ Eddie match on Nitro, setting up a triple threat, not a triple threat, but a three-way elimination match at Slamboree, which he still survived, really proved himself as a top guy in the company. Then he took on Kaz and was basically a banger at Great American Bash 2006. But all throughout that, Monty Brown had continued to destroy people, resetting himself off as the baddest man on the planet. And after defeating Judas Messias in a Sunset Deathmatch, we'll go deeper in later on, he challenged AJ for the title at Bash at the Beach and basically cleanly won the belt and proved it was the Alpha Ascendancy. And then he defeated Kanan at Mayhem to finish up things. But now Rob Van Dam is the holder of the called shot, and there's plenty of people who want a shot at Monty Brown. And then there were the tag titles. Of course, Booker and Shelton won them somewhat surprisingly at Starrcade 2006. And Booker, held the titles throughout the early part of the year, defeating Storm and Kidman in Storm Kidman's last match as a team before the triumvirate was broken up as part of the draft. Then they defeated Osei and Skipper at Clash of the Champions, defeated Ninkeo, Kaz and Yang at Super Brawl, defeated Jared and Vine at Sacrifice 2006, and defeated America Doesn't Want It at Nitro. And then they finished things out at WrestleWar, defeating Cash and Jason Jett at WrestleWar 2006. But then, as part of the third Assault of Anarchy, Rey Mysterio Jr. and Matt Sydal, who had begun teaming up as a tag team, won the belts as part of a four-way with Booker and Shelton, Ninkeo, and Kidman and Helms. Then at Great American Bash, Rey and Sydal defeated the Thunder Syndicate of Jamie Noble and Ray Gordy. And then, of course, at Bash at the Beach, Kidman and Helms challenged Rey and Sydal, as Kidman and Helms had basically started teaming up throughout the spring and summer as Legendary, but they fell to Rey and Sydal in a very good match. But then at Mayhem, the Thrillers of Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Haire, together fully. No, sorry, my bad. O'Haire had already turned heel. That's my wait, no. Hold on. Right, O'Haire turned heel in the spring to become a part of the Thrillers, and he and Jindrak got together as a team and won the tag titles off of Mayhem, off of Rey and Sydal at Mayhem 2006, and we'll see who goes after them for the belts. Then, of course, there's the U.S. title division. Paul London started the year as the title holder after defeating Mark Jindrak at Starrcade 2005. He defeated Jindrak during a match at Clash of Champions, defeated Keaton Sharp at Super Brawl, had two big wins over Shane Helms and Titus Tomko and Truth in a triple threat match at a Revolution March and Sacrifice. But then Ray LePen, the fast rising heel star, got the win over London at WrestleWar, and then LePen had still defenses against people like Lance Storm, Trevor Slater, and Maverick Chance throughout the late spring and early summer. But then at Bash at the Beach, Shelton Benjamin defeated him for the title after the Booker and Shelton team ended on a positive ending after they dropped the titles. But then Shelton Benjamin has proven himself to be a very, very defending champion, defending the titles 3 times in the month since he's won the title, defeating Cash, Titus Tomko, and Lance Storm at Austin Aries in a triple threat match, proving he is one of the biggest rising stars in WCW at the moment. The Cruiserweight titles, been a very interesting title so far this year over on Nitro, as of course Maverick Chance won the title at Starrcade 2005 as part of High Rider Havoc, aka Ultimate X match. He won 2 big matches over Japanese stars in Great Suzuki and Hiroki Hadagata. He defeated Reckless Roberts in a one-on-one match at Super Brawl, and then he defeated Cassie O'Reilly in a Nitro Network 2006, but O'Reilly earned a rematch and won the title with the help of his manager Misty at Slamboree. O'Reilly defeated Jimmy Rave at Grand American Bash 2006 and kept the title in a countout win over by losing by countout via Maverick Chance. And as we go into September, the first Nitro will have a triple threat match of Xavier Creed, who debuted earlier this summer and got a shock win over Cass O'Reilly in a non-title match, Maverick Chance, and Jimmy Rave in a triple threat match where Misty will be the referee. But yeah, I mean, Cruiserweight title is still not quite the top level scene was when men like Paul London were the champions. But, we have the rising stars like Creed, Maverick Chance, and Cass O'Reilly as part of the division. Then there are the women. Nikita Colt began the year as the champion, having won the first ladder match in women's history in WCW over Gail Kim, Johnny Lawler, and Tricia Sky. She defeated women like Celine Cartier and Angel Fox during the first part of the year, won a triple threat match over Lizzie Dumas and Tricia Sky in Super Brawl, where both of those women were more focused on each other than the champion. And then in a big match, she defeated Joni Lawler at Sacrifice 2006. But all that, Alyssa Alexander, aka Cheerleader Melissa, who was rising up the ranks, kind of shocked the world in a sense by defeating Colt at WrestleWar 2006, then winning her match at Slamboree 2006. Alexander continued by defeating Penny Grable, aka Cherry, who had taken over Captivation by this point at Grand American Bash 2006, and then defeated Allie Danger, aka Allison Carino, at Bash at the Beach 2006 after being Grable at Grand American Bash 2006. But then at Mayhem in August, Celine Cartier won the title and basically finishing her heel turn, which I'll go deeper in a little bit. But she was now a multi-time women's champion and a new aggressive Celine Cartier. One of the top storylines of Nitro was still The Nest, and The Nest first went after men like Brother Ray, The Truth, and Ken Anderson, and those three rising baby faces formed, a bit of a, mini alliance going after men like Raven, The Prophet, The Red Rum, aka Jonathan Toro, who had been, basically, you could say, tricked or manipulated or brainwashed into becoming Raven's, basically hired attack dog. But as that feud continues, we eventually got to Slamboree, where Brother Ray, after talking about being disrespected for large parts of the year, finally got upset and turned on The Truth, leaving him to be beaten down. And this eventually led to the Mayhem tournament, whereas Raven went off to feud with Evolution, which I'll get into more in a moment. Goldberg matched up with Brother Ray in the tournament. They fought to a double disqualification countout, leading to a rematch at Mayhem, which Goldberg got a big win over, despite, both of them being knocked out from the tournament. But the Nest continued their assault on the, top ranks of WCW, going after Ric Flair and the Evolution team of Blaster Lashley and Claudio Cesaro. But Raven continued to get distracted by these humming noises coming from the sound system during his interviews, eventually getting, getting pissed at them. But then at Grand American Bash 2006, it was a big triple threat match, it was a big 8-man match where Raven, Red Rum, The Prophet, and Morgan took on Ric Flair, Evolution, and ODB. The heels got the win, but when the Nest were going to put the final beat down, we saw a new video as Fallen Angel, aka Morningstar, aka Christopher Daniels, made his return after not being seen since the start of the year, now as a babyface going after the Nest. This eventually led to Mayhem, where Raven defeated the Fallen Angel, but then as it looks like the Raven were going to put the beat down to the Fallen Angel, Sting made his return, saving the Fallen Angel. And on the first Nitro of TW9, Sting, Fallen Angel will speak about their future and what they are going to do with the Nest. If the Nest has been in some ways the main storyline on Nitro outside of the, of course, world title fights, like with people like Guerrero, AJ Styles, and others, the big feud on Revolution has been the Thrillers versus the top babyfaces of Kurt Angle, Kanyon, Paul London, Jack Evans, and this has led to plenty of attacks, feuds, wars. In the beginning of the spring, a Kanyon-Palumbo match never happened, as Kanyon got basically beat down and left for dead for a couple months. This eventually led to a rematch where we had Don Fiery return attacking Kanyon, basically distracting him, even though Kanyon did eventually get the win at Bash at the Beach and got a world title shot. Meanwhile, Angle has been going after Palumbo, and Angle finally got a Metro revenge, defeating Palumbo as part of the Mayhem tournament, even though he didn't win the Mayhem tournament final, which was won by Rob Van Dam. Of course, we've had milk trucks, we've had motorcycles getting run over, we've had interesting team-ups as in Team Sorelli, we've had Dyson Havoc, aka Seekers of Sin, or now the One Percenters, taking out London Evans, but London Evans making a return. And as the fall begins, the Thrillers are still the top heel group, and men like Angle, Canyon, London, and Evans still want to take them down. Of course, this hasn't been the only big feuds. We've had the Ken Anderson Alex Wright feud, which basically began as part when he and Alex Wright were both part of a battle royal to for the next title shot. And Wright, and Anderson basically cost himself that said battle royal. This led to a bunch of tag matches, a big match at Great American Bash, which Wright won. Anderson got a measure of revenge, defeating him on a Nitro, and then won again. But Wright, made his attack, causing him to lose the tournament match versus Kaz at Mayhem. And it seems those two men are faced for a final showdown at Fall Brawl. You could argue having the best 2005. Eventually, had a U.S. title shot, but then, got several big wins, including over Jeff Hardy and Chavo Guerrero Jr. But the more interesting thing is that he defeated Booker T as part of the Mayhem tournament. But more interesting was his Enlightenment Sun Mars, which Chavo began to go to, which pissed off Booker, and now Booker is now, a little bit pissed at Keenan Sharp as he slightly, possibly, maybe continuing his manipulation of Booker's wife. We'll have to see about that. And finally, there is the story of Judas Messias. Of course, Judas Messias, the former Messias, got moved over to Revolution on his own, outside of both the Nest. And as part of Revolution, he basically had a mini feud with Chuck Palumbo to begin the year. He got then eventually got involved with a feud with Monty Brown, which ended in a double DQ for Star Wrestle War, but then as part of a rematch at Slamboree, Monty Brown defeated Judas Messias as part of a Sunset Death match, which is just a fancy Buried Alive match. But Judas Messias eventually made his return, getting involved in a feud with Rob Van Dam, with that match at the beach led to Van Dam being injured, and Paul Heyman getting the labor of Don Fry to go after Judas Messias, and as part of Revolution, they are set soon for a no holds barred match. And of course, there's other smaller feuds, such as America's Most Wanted versus Son Sigan on the undercard, and plenty of other wrestlers, all throughout up and down the card. Sonny Saki's long TV title reign. We have Johnny Lawler coming back as a babyface to the save, which I'll go into deeper. The Nikeo becoming more expanded with Kaz as a singles wrestler, and the rival Ken Suzuki, and of course, as I had mentioned earlier, the team of Helmut Kidman as legendary. And then there's also been other women's feud outside of the title feuds. Gail Kidman, brought up Allie Danger from Dove territory as her understudy, and they were teaming up. But eventually, Allie Danger turned on her supposed mentor, going after her, saying she should have to be a mentor. She's been part of wrestling since she was younger. She's part. She has wrestling in her blood, and this led to Allison Danger getting several big wins and even a women's title shot, even though she failed. But more recently, she's been going after the social scene, and recently brought in a backup in the form of Madison Eagles, even though we don't know what her WC name will be. But then there's the saga of Captivation. Of course, Captivation had been going after the various baby faces, and had been now, Angel Fox had been turfed out, leaving the group as Lexi James, aka Mickey James as Reed Dawkins, and Lizzie Dumas, aka Lita. But then, as part of a big steel cage match versus Trisha Sky, aka Trish Stratus, Lizzie Dumas got legitimately injured, which meant she was out for a couple months off TV for basically 2.5 months or so. And during this time, the rest of Captivation started helping Penny Grable, aka Cherry, who had talked about, more traditional, basically a 50s throwback, saying, the various wrestlers on the roster were, immoral, all that talk you'd expect. Eventually, Lizzie Dumas made a return and, thought she would, get a title shot. She had defeated, she actually got a big win over in a 4-way, and had fought Lizzie Alexander in a non-title match. And that's when, after she had failed, then there had been some big matches, but eventually, um, what happened is, upset Lacey James and Desert Dawkins sided with Penny Grable, officially turning her out of the group. And despite their long, long history, Trisha Sky made the save for Lizzie Dumas, which pissed off Celine Cartier, who had of course been one of the targets of Captivation when Lizzie was in charge. And this slowly led to Celine's heel turn in the summer, as Joni Lawler also returned, and the teaming up of Joni Lawler, Trisha Sky, and Lizzie Dumas got a big win at Mayhem over Captivation. And Eric Bischoff said he had a big announcement as part of the first Nitro of September to the Stream Hood 1. And that's where we are, at the end of, as of August 2006. Of course, 4 more months of TV left to end the year, so not quite as complicated yet, even though I'm sure I've made it complicated. And we have the rest of the world. Manu Nakanishi won the G1 in New Japan. In All Japan, Noah Kawada just finally moved over to Noah. And WWE, of course, we just had the Orton and Edge team up as Rated RKO, going after WWE World Champion Chris Jericho. We had Shawn Michaels finally landing his feud with CM Punk. And of course, plenty else going on in the wrestling world, including regions and new wrestlers and all sorts of fun stuff, which we'll see the effects of in W9, hopefully. But that's for now. So enjoy this. Go and give it a like. Comment below what you're liking and not liking, and subscribe to the channel for new TW9 stuff starting on Monday. And also, what I hope I'll have the time to do is a new Cornellverse series. Honestly, Pittsburgh Steel Wrestling, I was figuring out that I didn't actually like Pittsburgh Steel Wrestling. It was just a popular enough promotion I could hire the people I wanted. But it was I was remaking the promotion, and that was sort of pointless. And also, honestly, I'm going to be honest, booking weekly hour-long TV is just not that fun when you have a big roster, or you want a big roster. So I have a new idea, what should hopefully be an interesting idea, which sort of digs into Cornellverse canon. But that's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, that's all for now. So talk to you later, and adios.